Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Celeste. Last time we escaped the clutches of some creepy ghost dude who tried to trap us in his resort, and now we'll climb some more mountain in Chapter 4, the Golden Ridge, which I quite like. Well, it's been a while since we've talked to this charming old lady, so I'm glad that we could finally catch up again. But you know, we've already been introduced to two of this level's gimmicks. Well, to be more specific, this level's gimmicks are bouncy clouds, dash bubbles, and, as you can see here, wind. And those three will work together in kind of interesting ways, as we will see over the course of this level. A lot of people don't like wind because I think a lot of people have trouble with their movement being restricted, but it can also be used to your advantage. And these dash bubbles here, well, once you enter them, they kind of like fast forward you in one direction that you choose by pressing the D-pad, almost like a dash, and your dash gets reset. And these bouncy clouds, well, you know, you press buttons on them and jump, and you go up. Now, what a lot of people seem to miss is that you get the most elevation out of them if you press the jump button at the apex, like when they're the highest up. And here's an example of the wind working to our advantage, death notwithstanding. Most of the time, it is best to dash through wind that you're going against, of course. Or use these sick little dash jumps that I taught you last time. been a while since we've seen one of those puzzles. But yes, the strawberry seeds are back. I find these puzzles kind of interesting. Because, well, they don't come up a lot, but it's always kind of fun to figure out a solution on, you know, just picking up the seeds and which order you have to pick him up in. I didn't point this out until, well, now, but the music that you hear when picking up the B-side cassette tapes is actually the music plays in these B-side levels as well. All of the B-side levels have remixed music. Which, you know, makes sense, because the B-side, in this case, is of course not just a remixed level, but also more music on the second side of the tape, you know. Makes sense. Alright, so when I named 3 gimmicks in this level, well, those weren't all of them, because these blocks also exist. You hop onto them or grab onto them and they move. Most of the time they just go straight ahead. But some of them, like this one, can also be moved up and down, and others still to the left and the right. This room, of course, has 2 strawberries, and while I could have just collected them one after another, I just felt wrong to do, you know. Can't reach that quite yet. Ah, well. But, you know, I've mentioned this in the past, but a lot of the challenges in Celeste seem more like puzzles than just straight up, just platforming. Don't get me wrong, platforming is involved and the execution is important, but a lot of the time you first have to figure out a way to actually traverse a room. Sometimes it's more straightforward, like here. But in a lot of cases, you just have to think for a little bit, and as this game just is, there usually are multiple solutions. Some of them are even easier, but less apparent. All of these challenges we just went through, they're supposed to teach us one thing, and that's that we can actually control these moving blocks. You're supposed to just kind of stumble upon that. But if you already know it, you can just skip all of this. You don't need to collect any of these strawberries. It's actually something that Matt Thorson mentioned in his GDC talk from before the game's release, where he teaches players to use mechanics that they don't know to use yet, by forcing them to figure them out in optional challenges, while still allowing players who already know it or figure it out faster to just skip that part entirely. And hey, remember this white block from Super Mario Bros. 3? It's a neat reference, but a bit out of the place. Aha! A crystal heart. But no way to reach it, not even with my fancy tricks. Unfortunate. Nothing we can do now, though. Let's come back later. This room here is a pretty decent example of a more puzzle-oriented room. because you have to move the one block out of the way first, but you might not think about that immediately. I'm not saying they're incredibly difficult puzzles, but they're just, you know, something that's there. But hey, you do remember Super Mario Bros. 3 though, right? If you find a white block and duck on it, you'll eventually fall behind them into the background layer. And while in Super Mario Bros. 3 you cannot climb the background layer, in Celeste you certainly can. It's a nice little Easter egg for people who remember that. But probably not very fun for those who don't. But I do think it's okay to hide the crystal hearts behind stuff like this. That weird jump I just did, by the way, was accidental. Not the death. I mean the death also, but I did mean that weird upwards momentum that I did there. If you fail to dash back with this strawberry, you can just go to the left here and, you know, just jump over that little hill. And there's safe spaces there, and that will trigger the strawberry for you. And oh, by the way, if you're having trouble in the wind, just duck. If you duck, the wind won't push you. I mentioned this when they were introduced, but some of those blocks cannot be moved up or down or left or right. And you can actually tell which ones those are by looking at the outlines of the block. If there are no lines on the sides, that means they can be moved. If there aren't, like with these, that means that, well, they just go in one direction forever. Of course, until they hit a wall or the ground or the ceiling. Then they disappear, and after a short while, just reappear. And this strawberry here is probably the one that gives me the most trouble every time I attempt this. I know exactly what to do, but I keep messing it up. And yes, I did die here more than just once. And this here is another one that can be, well, deceivingly difficult. It's not that bad, actually. You just have to dash in the direction of that moving block before it comes to a full stop. You know, I really don't mind the wind gimmick, but when I do kind of don't think it's that fair anymore is when the wind comes in intervals. Especially if you don't know exactly what rhythm the wind comes in. Which, you know, you won't know from the start. And that is a really rude hidden path, because you have to actually collect the upper strawberry first. At least if you want to go for 100% run of this level. Because once you go and leave that room, you will end up here. We just came in through the right, and if we had come to the left, of course, we wouldn't be able to get back down again. Well, up until now, this level was really quiet, serene, pretty much. But now the music has kicked it up a notch, which completely changes the feel of the level. And along with the music being more intense, the challenges kind of amp it up a notch as well. The wind in particular is really strong on some of these screens here. And this screen in particular is one that just gives a lot of people despair because it looks really daunting. But once you know the solution, it's really kind of simple. The bane of my existence, of course, are timed obstacles, like these snowballs. I hate them. They kill me. If I go for a run of this level, even if I don't die a single time, I will die here, because even though they come in fixed intervals, I still somehow, like, always manage to just dive into one at just the right time. It's uncanny. Okay, after that ordeal, I think we need a breather, which we will only get in form of this little screen here. Indeed, we did collect everything again, but now it is time to go fast. Alright, here we go. Today's something a little different because you'll actually see 2 runs of mine. The above, I use some strategies that I'm not too used to yet that are theoretically faster, and in the below I play a bit more the way I'm comfortable. So below you'll see me be more consistent, while in the above you'll see me gain and lose time. But still, who wins in the end, I don't know. I mean, I know, but you know. The world record for this, by the way, is 2 minutes 57 seconds as of the time of this recording. And, well, spoilers, we're not gonna make that. We will be more than 1 minute above that. But still, it should be quite fun. If you've paid attention to the top run, you'll see that I use dash jumps off of clouds at times, which allow me to go up faster, but they have a tendency to go wrong sometimes. And that is rather unfortunate. But in any case, Right now it seems like we're more or less neck and neck, still relatively close together, with both schools of play. This is a show once and for all whether fast Iggy or slow and steady Iggy is better. I don't know. Which isn't to say that if you are trying to go for more high-level speedruns, you will, of course, have to be very, very fast and very steady when you do that. Well, my fast version just did another, like, more or less substantial skip, just skipping what is essentially more or less an auto-scroller. Or half of it anyway. So fast, Iggy is ahead once more. And this is actually one of my favorite levels to run. Because, well, let's just say I record the bottom run first. The slow and steady one, so to speak. And I actually recorded commentary for that. And I mentioned that, yeah, I kind of really like this level because with every run I figure out something new that lets me go through the level a bit faster, so I feel that I could improve my time with every run. But then I decided to record another one using more, like, interesting tricks, just for the hell of it. Plus, I really want to show off some of the more interesting ways to go through levels anyway, and this is a good way to do so. Basically, I stole the top run strats, or some of them anyway, from a speedrun I happen to have watched. Well, the bottom run's just kind of going through the level with a route that I devised myself. One that I'm more comfortable with, of course, but that doesn't mean it's the best, of course not. It just means that it exists. Oh, by the way, the music you are listening to right now is of course the theme for this level, but it is the soundtrack version. Which means the build of the music does not respect where we are in the level right now. It builds a lot slower than it should for this run. Which just goes to show that, hey, maybe we're doing something right with our speedrun here. Because we're at least faster than the music expects us to be. But yeah, this music is, like, the soundtrack in channel is really great, which is why I just bought it basically immediately before I even finished the game. And well, I was gonna say that our fastest self is ahead again, but look at this. This room is kind of a crapshoot, apparently. It shouldn't be this hard, but let's just say the snowballs scare me. And yeah, just in general, this strong wind has a tendency to screw me up sometimes. Alright, final room of the level. Fast Iggy is ahead. But oh, whoa, oh no. How unfortunate. Well, slow and steady Iggy goes in 4:53. And fast Iggy in 4:49. And well, again, if you go high-level speedrunning, you will need to go fast and become very consistent at it. But for now, this is about it. Fun level, fun run. But next time we will go to the Mirror Temple, which is a very interesting level. So see ya then.